Hi everyone, it's Evelyn, and in this week's video we're going to discuss Ranunculus. Now, I mentioned in past videos that I grew Ranunculus last year. I let the plants go through their life cycle, and in August I dug up the corms and I stored them for the winter. And the ones that I grew last year were Amandine Salmon, which actually comes out to a super bright orange. I'm not growing that one again. It was not popular amongst my buyers. Amandine White, that one I am growing again. Amandine Marshmallow, which I am definitely growing again. And Pauline, which I would like to be growing again. Now, when I say I'm not growing salmon again, the ones that I grew up are definitely growing again because I had them labeled. But our dogs that were only just over 1 year old at the time managed to pull up all the labels, chew them up, and scattered them all over the place. So I was not able to tell which was which. So all the ones that I grew last year, I will grow again. However, I did go to the garden center just this morning because they just came in, and I bought more of the Amandine Marshmallow, and I bought more of the Amandine White. Now, when I say more, there's only 5 in a package, and a package costs $12.99 retail, so they're not cheap. However, what I'll probably be doing is later on this season is ordering a whole pile more wholesale, because I do have a wholesale sale account with Van Noort, which is a BC company. But I bought these as an experiment because the ones that I dug up and stored for the winter last year, I got them out of storage, and this is how I stored them. I stored them in a paper bag. I had it all folded down with some painter's tape so that it wouldn't open. And inside the bag, what I had was wood chips from our planer, because we have a shop just outside of my seed room here, and the planer produces a lot of really fluffy little flaky pieces of wood for when wood goes through the planer, and most of it's fir. So in the middle of all those wood flakes inside the paper bag, there is I thought it was a mesh bag, but it's actually one of these. I got a whole pile of these. I have no idea what came in them, can't remember, but I have a whole pile of these. So I had put all of the Ranunculus corms inside of here, rolled it up, and stored it inside the paper bag. And then when I took them out, I put them all into a pail, and I filled the pail up with water, and I let them soak for, I believe that they soaked for 5 hours when I started them. Mainly because I wasn't around at the 4-hour mark to pull them out, but I honestly didn't think an extra hour would make that much difference. I did change the water twice through that cycle so that they always had fresh water with lots of oxygen in it. And after I pulled them out of storage, which again was on February, what day did I say that was? February 5th of this year, I got my garbage can of soil, and I filled up several flats that I like growing Ranunculus in, and you can see there's 21 cells inside this flat, and they're quite a tapered flat, so they do force the roots to go downwards. And because I can use such large cells, I'm not in a hurry to plant them out, because our weather can be all over the place at this time of year. For example, right now it's 8 degrees outside. On Wednesday, the high is going to be like 2 degrees or something like that, and their forecast is for snow on Friday, so we can be a little bit all over the place. So I have to play with the weather so that I don't put them out from a shocking temperature of warm spring, 19-20 degrees inside my seed room, to something freezing outside. They have to condition first, and I don't even want to start the conditioning when there's that much of a jump. So I'm not starting anything outside this week. I had planned to. It'll have to wait till next week. So after I fill up the trays with the soil, I then just put all of the clumps of Ranunculus one on top of each cell. Now I'm just going to open up one of these so that I can show you what they look like up close. Because clearly the ones I pulled out of storage are all planted, so I can't show it to you up close. I might have to cut this open. Hang on. So Ranunculus corm looks like a little octopus. It's got little octopus legs all over the place, or squid if you prefer that. And they go down, and the flat part is the top part. So these little excuse me, octopus legs are like little tubers, if you want to think of it that way. If you think of a dahlia tuber, think of these as a whole pile of little dahlia tubers. I got to get a little drink of water. My voice is going off a bit. So anyway, I've placed one of the ranunculus on each side of the, on each one of the cells. And then I just push it down. Don't do anything fancy, because by pushing it down, I'm making sure that I'm getting a lot of soil in and amongst the ranunculus corm. So if I'm pushing it down in the soil, it's forcing soil into all these different little areas, voids within it. And once it's pushed down, I then push the soil all over the top. I need some more water, just one sec. I have smoke allergies, and there's a lot of chimney smoke happening these days, so that's why my voice is always all over the place right now. Can't wait for the spring, because I don't have hay fever, just smoke allergies from all the wood burning smoke in the chimneys in the neighborhood. Anyway, so I push the corms down, and then I push the soil over top of it. And then I just took another little container of soil and put it on top to flush it all out so that it was all nice and even. Once that was done, I sprinkled it with vermiculite, and once it was all sprinkled with vermiculite, I put them onto my grow shelves and put a plastic dome over top of them so that it would control the humidity and the moisture loss within those cells. And on day 9, they started sprouting, and this is what they looked like. I had 28 of the 75 sprouting on day 9, which is 37%. So today will be day 14, and I will show you what those look like on the seed racks. But day 14 is when I'm going to start the 5 extra marshmallows and the 5 extra amandine whites. And this will be an interesting experiment to see of a difference of 14 days. Is it going to be 14 different days to blooming for those ones? Will it be less? Will it be more? I don't know. It's an interesting experiment. So I only bought 2 packages because it's just for experimental purposes. It's just way too expensive to be buying a whole lot of that. Like I said, come summer, when I order my tulip and daffodil bulbs, I'll be ordering ranunculus at the same time, possibly hyacinths as well, because I do have a wholesale account now, and I do need to put in a minimum order of $500. So that's not too hard to do, but with the ranunculus, the tulips, and the daffodils, that will be probably $500 right there, and money well spent. So anyway, that's the progress that I got up until day 9. I'm now going to take you over and show you what the ranunculus look like now. I'm also going to show you what all the seeds that I started at the beginning of February look like now. I took you through them all last week, and you can see what the difference is this week. I'll just pick up my stand, and we'll walk over to the seed room here. Now you can see in just the last 5 days how much more the ranunculus have grown. So they're all doing really, really well in there. I'm going to do what I did last week, which is take you off of selfie mode, because it's much easier just to show you what all the different seeds and corms look like when you're not in selfie mode. So just one sec. There we go. So here we go. So here's a couple of weeds. I'm leaving them to see what they are. I might dig them up and pot them up just to see what they are. I'm hoping they might actually be zucchini or cucumber. Anyway, so you can see how much bigger they are since last week, or since 5 days ago, pardon me, when they were just poking out. So that flat looks really good. This flat looks really good. Some of them are still just starting to come up, and you can see that one there. See that one there, very tiny. So more of them are coming up. Very happy with that. I planted 75 from ones that I had dug up, so they're all looking great. In front of this flat of ranunculus, I have my African marigolds. You can see they're still pretty small. They haven't grown a lot. The ones that have, of course, grown the most are my sweet peas up here. Now, if you look at this, you can see just how much taller they are. And you can say, well, I need to raise my grow light, because they're clearly getting taller than the grow lights. But what I'm going to do now is that they're getting that tall. I'm going to take these all and pinch them at the second set of leaves, just with my fingernail like that. What I'm going to do with this, which one was that in? That was in here. I'm going to poke a little hole in the soil. And plant that, because it will grow. So I'll be doing that with all of these later on today when I get around to planting the ranunculus. But they're all looking fantastic. I'm going to move them all around with my hands so that they get windage on them, so that when they go outside and they are eventually uncovered, their stems will be a little bit adjusted to lots and lots of movement. Otherwise they'll just flop over. You can see my bachelor buttons over here are looking really good. They have gotten this big since last week. If you come down onto the next shelf, my stalk is looking much bigger. And there you go. And some more is just starting to come up, as you can see here. Oops, knocked that guy over. Don't do that. He's just starting to come up. Beside that, is my Nigella. Now the Nigella is interesting because I got two types of Nigella in here. One type is marked just with 3 little tags. And it's a seed company that I've never used before. And behind that is, I believe, West Coast Seeds. It's either that or Vessies, which I use all the time. Both Canadian companies. The one that I never used before, the germination rate is, of course, much worse. So I won't be using that company again. That was an experiment. Down here we have my snapdragons. I'm going to have to get in here and thin them out. As you can see, they've all grown quite a bit since last week. I've got them marked. There's 4 different types of snapdragons down here. See, this quadrant is Orleans. The back quadrant is Opus. I'd have to look on the other side to see what the other 2 quadrants were. Beside that is my lettuce plants. And what's kind of fun is you can see, clearly I got more than one seed in a lot of these, but you can see the color is starting to show up on the red leaf. That one's got color, quite a bit of color. This one's just starting. So that's kind of fun. And the other cool thing, my pelleted romaine has decided to sprout. So it's not sprouting in every hole, but I marked this one because this one still had a seed on it. So that way I would know for sure what was what just by the way it looked. But they're definitely starting to sprout. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 coming up of the romaine out of 4, 8, 12, 16. So I'm happy with that because I really did think that the pelleted seeds weren't going to come up this year at all. Ooh, look at some of these ranunculus. Look how nice and big they're looking. Oh, I just love that. That's just so much fun. So that's my ranunculus and the update on all the seeds that I've done for the past year. Let me take you off of this and put you back. There we go. A bit too close to my face there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week we're going to discuss dahlias. So don't miss out on that. Subscribe so that you make sure that you do actually get to see the dahlia video. And give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And see you next week. Bye.